2017 can be called the year of AMD. AMD announced the Ryzen processor and really shook up the whole narrative for CPUs. We saw the Ryzen 7, the 1800X, as well as the 1700 do some really great performance with a couple of builds. We saw the Ryzen 5, which is of course mid-range entry points that really showed a lot of performance that challenged some high-end processors. And now today we have the Ryzen 3. Yes, AMD's new processor. Now, I want to say this first, guys, stay tuned and watch this video all the way to the end because I've got something really cool for you at the end, so stay tuned. Now, the Ryzen 3 processor comes in two flavors. You've got a 1300X and a 1200X. The 1300X is 4 cores, 4 threads, clocked at 3.5 and overclocked at 3.7, priced at $129 MSRP. The Ryzen 3 1200 is also 4 cores and 4 threads, and this is clocked at 3.1, overclocked to 3.4. MSRP is $109. So AMD has something here that I really believe will change the game, especially in this lower-end processor. For people who want to build 1080p systems at a cost-effective price, for people who are going to be doing some esports and live streaming, they say this is a processor for you. So we put it to our test. We basically said, okay, let's go ahead and put this into a build. So what I did in this video here is I took my cost-effective Ryzen 5 $550 build and I did some changes to it. I said, okay, let's go ahead and change some things. So we swapped out the graphics card. We went with a GTX 1050 Ti and we swapped out the processor. Went from a Ryzen 5, went down to a Ryzen 3 1300X to see how well it performs doing a lot of gaming for us on the system. Now, it comes with its own CPU cooler, which is nice, but I ended up going with the rate cooler at the end because I like the rate cooler and I like the way it functions. I also like the lighting effects there, so you can put your own cooler with it. The motherboard here is a really nice motherboard. It's only $89. We have a Seagate 2 terabyte hard drive in this system, 8 gigs of RAM from Kingston. It's the HyperX RAM, which of course is part of Kingston's family. And of course, our case and power supply is all from Thermaltake. Now, that's that. So you're going, okay, let's get to performance. Let's get to gaming. Not yet. AMD has this pretty cool software. It's the Master software, which allows you to overclock your system. Now, some of you may not be interested in that, but it's a very easy process to overclock with this processor and with AMD Ryzen processors. All you have to do is go ahead and just move your levels to where you want, and you can save it, and you save it with 4 profiles, and that's it. It checks your temperature, you have a temperature gauge, your warnings. So all that thing is there, and it's pretty easy to do that if you want to. Or if you're like me, I necessarily don't overclock, so I leave it standard because I like to see how this processor does on its own without doing any overclocking here. Now, yes, games. So we're going to be checking out a lot of games, and we were gaming 1080p. We're using this new Pixio P245C monitor. It's a 1080p monitor, does 144 Hertz, refresh rate, 4 milliseconds refresh time. So this should give us a good idea of how this system runs. We can all do all that stuff, but you don't care about my babble now. You want to see the games and see how well they perform. So let's go ahead and take a look. So our first game is Doom. You can see here settings is at Ultra. We're playing this again on our display, which is a 1080p display. And you can see we can easily do 60 frames per second playing Doom. Fast-paced game. Of course, you want to get the kind of best performance. If you're going to be doing some 1080p gaming, you're going to be doing some esports, some live streaming, things like that. You want a processor that can support that. Again, this is set at Ultra, and we are getting that kind of frame which you see here. At some points it went up to 100 frames per second. Some points it dropped down, of course, to 57 frames per second. But our average was in the 70s, which is pretty good. Really smooth. You can see a lot of detail. So you know that the Ryzen 3 matched up with the GTX 1050 Ti is handling 1080p gaming very well for a game like this, and that's what we want to see. That's what we want to get while we're gaming, on the go. We want to get the highest frame rates as we can. We want to get the very smoothest performance. So if we're doing this, we're also live streaming this, we should get a good performance all the way around. So as gamers, that is really important. So I like the performance here. Now, as we move over to Battlefield 1 here, to see what we can, well, we're dead now, but let's go ahead and see at least what our settings is. You can see it's 60 frames per second right there. go ahead and check it out. Go into the options and you see this is also going to be set at Ultra. That's just showing you how I'm trying to show you how high you're pushing this. So at Ultra, lowest was 51, 60 frames per second constantly. In heat of battle, it's still around 60 frames per second, which is good. That's steady. You know, 1080p gaming on this system with the Ryzen 3 goes a long way. So it tells you, look, if you're looking to build, you're trying to save money, you're trying to actually build something that's cost effective, you know, and also game well, get a lot of detail. You can actually, you know, set up this build that I have, something manageable like that with the, you know, GTX 1050 Ti with the couple of the Ryzen 7 1300X to give you some really good performance. Again, I'm only running in 8 gigs of RAM, really. So you know how well this combination is going really well in terms of just gaming, in terms of gaming performance. For the low-end gamer, this is really good. 1080p, over 60 frames per second. Now moving on to Overwatch. Now Overwatch is a game of course a lot of people play. Here it's literally just been locked at 70 frames per second, and this is also set at Ultra. And you're gonna go ahead and jump into some of the heat of the battle here. I really enjoy the way the Ryzen 3 processor handles, especially in the system here where I'm using just a regular hard drive with the 1700 RPMs. I could have gone with SSD to even try to eke out more performance, but overall, I think a lot of people would be quite impressed with the way the Ryzen 3 processor handles in terms of gaming, functionality, that kind of stuff. But as a gamer, strictly as a gamer, you want to build something cost effective. I think this is the right spot to start with the Ryzen 3. And I think a lot of people see the cost benefits as well as the performance benefits you get from the system. I think it will go quite a long way. So let's go ahead and round up this review. So the Ryzen 3 processor has shown that it can perform quite well. We've seen it with Doom, Overwatch, as well as Battlefield 1. This is a processor that does 1080p 60 frames per second gaming quite easily and higher in certain situations. We saw games at Ultra, which is actually pretty cool. So this processor can perform, and I like that it's also well priced. One of the cool things about the Ryzen processor I didn't mention is that it also allows for scalability, which means as you're gaming, as you're enjoying, and you get maybe more money or you want to upgrade, whatever the case may be, you can upgrade, keep the same motherboard, and still go from a Ryzen 3 all the way to a Ryzen 7, which is fantastic. You saw as I dropped down from a 5 to a 3, I can go ahead and build and start from 3 all the way to a Ryzen 5. And that's why I like the Ryzen system. I also like the Ryzen 3 processor because it allows me to do that and also allows me to enjoy just some really solid 1080p 60 frames per second gaming with ease. Now I did mention there's a giveaway. No, I didn't. Well, there is a giveaway for you guys because I said you should stay to the end and pay attention. Yes, now I'm giving away the Ryzen 3 1200 processor, really cool. And all you have to do is actually subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe and you leave a comment telling me what you think about the Ryzen 3 processor and how you use the Ryzen 3 1200 in your own build. Yes, that's all you have to do. And please leave your Twitter handle within that comment so I know I can actually contact you on Twitter so we can actually give you your prize because YouTube doesn't have a good contact system. But that's pretty much it. Subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think about the Ryzen 3 processor and how you would use yours in your own build. And that's it. Thank you very much, guys. Don't forget to like and share this video, favorite this video, definitely subscribe to the channel, and always enjoy your entertainment.